Hey, this is Michael Wilton of Queensrÿche, and we go to 11.
Radio Amor.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Ooh, this is going to be for We Go to 11. And, we covered you guys recently over at Ridgefield when you did that casino gig, which we were fortunate enough because, sometimes people don't get, or bands, acts don't get booked for certain areas. And thankfully enough, we got a chance to check out the Origins set that you guys did. So, how was that received? I mean, I think the classic stuff always goes over well. I mean, and so does the new stuff. I mean, I think you guys have done a pretty good job of kind of balancing, the set from album to album. With Todd, that is.
Yeah, I mean it's a balancing act, but the Origins tour is, the second leg is just wrapping up,
right?
And before we take it to Europe, so. Yeah, it's been just a great run. And I'll tell you what, seeing the old school Riker fans come out and support this tour, as well as, it's multi-generational. So it's like you get young kids checking us out, teenagers, guys in bands.
Right.
And, but it's been so much fun, and we've had such a great time. It was just an idea, and here we are, two legs into it.
Yeah, no kidding. And I still remember, the signings you guys did. I'm in Oregon, so not too far from, where you guys originated and stuff initially. But the Tower Records in Portland, Oregon, they had Rage and the EP signed up on the top. Where they had like their it's almost like a wall of fame. Anybody that did a signing, they would get one of the vinyl albums up there, and that was always cool to see. Anytime I went and bought a new release, and kind of scanned some of the signings that I was at and stuff like that. So that's good stuff. So you have some solo music coming up, and it's Whip Volume 1, and that's coming out in, I think, December 6th, right? Via Rat Pak, which you guys, have you have a pretty good relationship, you guys in Ryke, with Rat Pak Records. So tell us about how long has that been kind of in the works?
Probably about 3 years.
Okay.
I got some guys in Seattle, and so and then I went through some changes, and then I moved to Florida. Oh, and and then we went on some Judas Priest tours, and and time flies, and then and finally I was able to get a solid week with producer Zeus,
right,
to mix. I mean, it's been done for a long time, so it's just a matter of getting all the business things done and getting it to Zeus. And so finally.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, again, and I'm going to sneak something about the Soulbender in there as well, because that was also released later on by Rat Pak, after you guys had released the initial pressing of that. So, when something sits around like this, and completed for like 3 years, and all this stuff happens, and then you get Zeus, who's worked with you guys in the past, yourself and Reich and stuff. Do you start to at any point going, well, maybe we could have tweaked, and then it becomes like Chinese democracy or something like that, where it just gets extended, and it's like, no, we need to fix this, or you get cold feet about a certain aspect of the album. Did that happen at all? And how do you prevent that from happening? Because I know I'd be doing that.
No, it's just, it's all of a sudden we just got so busy in Queensrÿche, it kind of went by the wayside. And but yeah, I mean, this is volume 1. I'm already working on volume 2.
Oh, no. And is that going to take 3 years? I mean, I guess it could, right? Because you guys are heading to Europe now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it'll be a lot quicker.
Okay. What do you have a projected kind of timetable in your head? I mean, obviously it's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably be putting it together next year, and hopefully the following year, so 26.
Okay. And what about with, I mean, you're heading to Europe. Are you going to do any one-off shows to kind of, promote some of the music on this album that you're putting out, Whip Volume 1?
It's up in the air,
So
if there's time available,
right.
And I mean, it's obviously these guys, we haven't played live together, so it'd be, a few rehearsals. So
right. Okay. So that's possible maybe down the way and stuff. As I mentioned, Rat Pak, they also reissued and with bonus content, the Soulbender album. What's the thoughts on that? I mean, I still dust it off every now and again, either the initial pressing or the reissue through Rat Pak, because it does have bonus content on there. What's your thoughts on that, thinking back now, in retrospect? I mean, still like it, or you think I could have done this, or what? Yeah, I mean,
I think it's, it's great. It was with some friends from Vancouver and the singer Nick Pollock,
right.
From My Sister's Machine, and
exactly.
And as a band, we just kind of came up with some organic hard rock metal, and we had it mixed at I think it was Triad Studios, where Queensrÿche, the EP was done, and it did well. We did some live shows, but then things kind of fell apart. So kind of put that to the wayside, and I still go back and listen to it, and I enjoy it, and a lot of people don't know about it, which is interesting. And and some of the pre-show music at our Queensryche shows, there's a Soulbender song in there, and people go, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" And so
I'm curious, how would you describe the Soulbender stuff? If somebody, because like you said, there are some people out there that haven't discovered it quite yet.
It's just 90s hard rock, hard rock metal, and born and bred in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, no kidding. And are you still in touch with Nick and some of the other guys on there?
Yeah, when we came through Seattle, both Dave and Nick came to the show. We were playing at the Neptune Theater in Seattle, and they had great things to say, and it's just good to see them. And so I always wonder what they're doing. The bass player Marty, he passed away, and then I don't know what the drummer Wes Hallam is doing, but it's good to reminisce and just be buds and beer drinking friends.
Right. And how underrated was My Sister's Machine? I think they, it kind of like with the wave of, some of the harder rock bands, I guess you can call them glammy kind of image, at the tail end. There were some bands that were really good and didn't quite get their due. But My Sister's Machine, I mean, what a great band.
Yeah, I thought they were really cool. But, there were so many bands coming out of the Northwest. It was just kind of got lost in the shuffle, I guess, and didn't get its deserved push. But definitely a gem, for people to check out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so for yourself, I mean, what is next? We talked about new album coming out in December. Queensryche's heading to Europe. When is that happening about?
That's February and part of March. And then we're doing the Monsters of Rock cruise after that. That's mid-March or end of March. I'm not sure. And then in May, we're going to South America. We're playing the Monsters of Rock festivals down there.
Okay.
So it's like 3 festivals that we're doing. And then after that, you know, we'll see. We'll be doing. We really want to get started on the Queensryche writing process and make headway with that, and doing shows here and there, you know, festivals here and there next year. And then, you know, we just start thinking about 2026 again. So it's, we'll, you know, see what happens. And you know, there's, it seems, you know, just from all the constant touring and everything that we've done, but there's plenty of offers. So it's,
well, I mean,
it's managing it and making it all cohesively and not so spread out, and trying to,
and you guys have become staples, I mean, on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and it always fits pretty well. I mean, I know oftentimes people tend to think that it's more like the glammy type bands and stuff like that, but you guys slot in pretty well. And, you know, I like how you mix up the sets and stuff. So that's always pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, I think they've booked us through 2028.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, wow. Yeah. Cause it seems like anytime I get on the cruise, you guys are there. Now I'm not complaining, because I mean, I grew up, you know, going to your shows, you know, going to these signings, like I mentioned, you know, the Tower Records and whatnot. And then, you know, see you guys on the cruise. It's almost like bringing home, you know, on the ship or something. But, you know, that's got to be pretty gratifying for you guys. I mean, you're in the regular rotation, and it doesn't ever seem to get old.
Yeah. I mean, it's I guess a profitable business. And, you know, as long as the weather, you know, cooperates and no hurricanes or anything, you know, like
you're not on the pool stage getting rained out.
It seems like when we play on the pool, it's the wind is just it's crazy. But a lot of fun, so much fun.
What are the best gigs for you? I mean, do you prefer those kinds of gigs, festivals, or you know, or arena shows? Like you know, we were just mentioning, we also caught you guys with Priest, obviously, or casino gigs. I mean, I think it seems like a lot of bands are really getting booked on these casino gigs.
Well, it's a variety of shows, you know, it's all kinds, and you know, we play big festivals, we play theaters, we play clubs, we play, you know, it's in these days, in this climate, you know, for bands to tour as it is, you have to be multifaceted, right? You got to be able to play all the shows and have your, you know, your act together to conform to whatever type of a show it is, you know. So you know, we used to, back in the 80s, we'd be on a couple buses and 3 trucks, and we'd tour 6 months out of the year, you know. But back then, you know, people bought albums and it was different. Now it's like, you know, bands have to tour to keep things, you know, floating per se. And, you know, it's a balance, right? You don't want to oversaturate the market, but yet you want to keep the business flowing, right? So,
no kidding.
So it's tough for bands these days, and but you know, it's something that we love to do, and you know, it's you know, now that we're going back to Europe, we haven't been there since 2019.
Jeez.
So.
They're going to go nuts over the classic stuff. I mean, because you're doing Origins, right?
Right.
Oof, they're going to lose it.
Yeah, we're hoping. You know,
I mean, that's going to be great.
We just got notified that some of the shows are already sold out, so it's like, wow. You know, it should be a good time.
Right. Out of curiosity, I mean, you know, I picked up on that. You're saying playing the Soul Bender, you know, during the pre-show music, right? Is there a chance you're going to sneak in, even if you could sneak in a Whip Volume 1 tune on there? Which would it be?
You know, we'll see. I mean, on the November 22nd, the first single is available. So maybe something, you know, along that line or whatever. So
Okay, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that, or have people keep an eye out for that. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I was going to ask you something else, and it's space. See, there's so much stuff to talk about that it's space it out. I was going to ask you about this though. At this point in time, you guys have this huge catalog of stuff. I mean, is it getting to that point with Todd? That is it getting to that point where it's time to release like a live recording? And I would think the origins, being that it went over so well, you guys must be recording some of that stuff, or must have recorded some of that stuff.
Yeah, like I said, there's plenty of opportunity and offers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this, but we record every show.
I did not know that.
So,
geez.
So, and how much we play, it's someone would have to, filter through all that. But, and then you got, you got to link up video to it and everything. It's not an easy process. It's very time consuming, and somebody's got to do a lot of grunt work, basically, to go through everything. But yeah, we've talked about putting out a live album or a live DVD, but again, we just need the time.
Right. Real quick, because you covered the Rebel Yell. What was it about that particular tune? I mean, there's people that's a good, brilliant way to kind of pull in people that typically don't listen to Queensryche. I'll use an example. I mean, my wife's not really into heavier music, but that kind of drew her in because she's familiar with, Billy Idol's music and stuff like that. So what about that particular tune, and were there others in contention on the list, and why that one in particular?
Well, we were in a position where, our contract with Century Media Records, requires a couple bonus tracks, right? And we had done like acoustic versions of this on previous albums, or a live version of this on. So this one, we just wanted to mix it up and do a someone else's song. So, originally we were tracking a cult song, I think, and then for Todd, it didn't really fit his style that much. But he said, but I do a mean Billy Idol Rebel Yell. And we go, okay, well, so in the 11th hour, we learned it. And that was the one that made the album.
No kidding. What was the cult tune, or do you want to say?
That was She Sells Sanctuary.
Oh, wow. I think. Okay, nice. Well, either one would have been great, I think. But Rebel Yell, he nailed it.
Yeah. Okay. So, but that's the thing, when you got a record company and you only get paid for 10 of the songs, and it's like you want, not to give them your A game stuff for free, right?
Sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's why bands do live versions or acoustic versions or whatever, because they've already been there. So gone are the days where you put 18 songs on a CD. Because nobody buys CDs anymore. So
I do, but I am in the minority. But with that, did you find that that's a good point, about I think of like an album like Dawkins, Back for the Attack, going back to Tower Records. I bought that on date of release, skipped school, went and got it. But that says over 60, or was it 80 minutes of music? But I think that opened up the opportunity to put a lot of filler in a lot of those records. I don't think you guys were one of those bands back in the day. You think of Empire and Mindcrime and stuff. Those are pretty good records top to bottom. Do you think that was an issue with a lot of bands back in the day, when the CD conversion happened, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we can jam this up with a lot of stuff? But was a lot of it maybe also filler?
Well, I think, you can only put so much information on a CD, and it compromises the sound.
Right.
Just as when you cut an LP, so it's like But again, it's based on your deal with whoever's gonna market it and promote it,
right.
or front it,
Right.
and it's like
True.
So it just depends.
Right. Okay. Got a couple more and then I'll cut you loose, Michael. Thank you so much.
Hey, right.
Good speaking with you. One of my last questions is Operation Mike Crime. If that were a sequel, as in a film, what film would that be in your mind?
Wow, I don't know, but it'd have to have a real kick-ass actor in it.
Yeah. And how was it, having Ronnie James Dio on that? Because that was one of his last kind of performances, right? And a guest performance at that.
Oh yeah, I mean, being able to tour with him, in the early '80s,
Right.
and just a gentleman, just a real great guy, and then have him play live with us and record some stuff, and it's just just a great guy. I've said hello to Wendy Dio a few times at certain events, and just really,
Right.
he's missed. He's very much missed.
Right. Last thing, and then I'll have you do a intro for this thing with in a second. But last question: what's a Spinal Tap moment that has happened on either the first or second leg of this Origins tour for you?
A spinal moment.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you got me on spot here. I'm trying to. We're pretty much a machine, So it's, hey guys, what's the spinal moment on this tour? They're pondering as well.
maybe that's not a bad thing.
That was pretty
It's not appropriate. Yeah. It's every, on some of these shows, every day is an adventure,
Right.
It's so we just learn to adapt.
Right. Got
But
it.
I think, wow, usually I'd have that in the,
no
front
gear
of,
mishaps or anything. I mean, you
front
guys
of
have
the
got
brain,
it all dialed in. Huh?
The other night in
hold please.
the other night in Alabama, Stoney's guitar got caught of himself and he was trying to figure out what to do. He mysteriously cut his hand.
Oh, yeah. The other night in Alabama,
Okay.
Stone, our other guitar player, something got stuck in his guitar strap.
Oh.
It was like the third song, I think, or something. And he went back to try and undo it. And in doing it, he cut his finger on something down to the bone. So it was shooting out blood on the stage. And it was the third song. It was Blinded. And then so the Lady Wore Black started, right? And I'm playing it by myself. I'm going, what happened? And and apparently while I'm playing this, they're all trying to stop the bleeding and bandage his wounds so he can play the guitar, but they wrapped it in a certain way that he couldn't move his finger. So it was quite a mess, but he really gashed it. And I go, what did you cut it on? And he goes, I don't know, but it just ripped out a huge portion of skin on my finger.
Jeez.
So,
wow. Okay, that'll work. Oh my God.
But the show must go on.
And how many stitches was that?
Well,
did they glue them back together?
Yeah, we used super glue.
Oh, so same here, always.
But he said he probably could have had a couple stitches.
Thank you so much, man. Hope to see you guys again out here in Portland, Oregon area, or out in Ridgefield again.
Yeah, sure. Let's hook up again when you get the Whip album.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Safe travels. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, bud.